From New York City, I'm Stephen Shalowitz, and this is the One Way Ticket Show. I want to ask you something that was actually in your book, A Knock at the Door. Your grandfather taught you many life lessons. He was a true Renaissance man, as you pointed out in the book, and as you've told me separately. But one of the stories that he shared with you and that you point out in the book was of the prize fighter and the boy with the broken bottle. And I want you to highlight that story for our wonderful audience, Ory, because I think it's very telling in terms of our time today and how to interpret what's going on in the world today.
It was a story that I told you. It's not a story, it's real life. I was raised by my grandfather, by my parents, but I lived mostly with my grandfather. He was a very wise man. He came from Hebron. He was a real Hebron type. And when he wanted as a grandfather to his grandchild to describe to him in what surrounding, in what part of the world he's living, he asked me a question regarding that situation. And he said, for example, if the worldwide champion of boxing is coming to the arena, and the one who is coming in front of him will be a boy of 12 or 13 with a broken bottle, and they start to fight. He asked me, who will win this battle? And I said, the world champion. I was a kid, the world champion. He said, no, the world champion will fight according to the laws. You know, no boxing below the belt and things like that. But the boy, he will take the bottle. He will start the world champion below his belt, and he will win. Because these are the laws of, I believe, the laws of our neighborhood. And at that time, I don't think I understood that this would be part of my life, that I'm going to live in this part of the world with my mission. But at the end of the day, we are living in a boxing arena without rules, no rules. And those who are working according to the rules, at the end of the day, sometimes they're losing.
And that's the neighborhood that you find yourself in. And how do you think the rest of the world understands that? I personally think the rest of the world does not understand the kind of neighborhood you're living in, particularly those liberal Western democracies that want to, and this of course is me editorializing, Ory, so you can agree or disagree, but it seems to me that they put their own values on what's happening in the Middle East and try and understand it through their own lens without understanding what the reality is.
I can be very short and sharp and tell you that nobody in the world who is not living in this part of the world cannot understand it or accept it. And in this part of the world, I believe, and unfortunately, these are the name of the game. These are the rules. And this is the reason that Israel, as the only democracy in this part of the world, is priority. How do you call it?
Front line. We call it the front line.
So I prefer to be in a democratic society, even in this part of the world, on top of living like our neighbors are living. And I'm not talking about all our neighbors. I'm talking about the terror organizations. I'm not talking about Arabs and Palestinians who are not terrorists. They are part of the area, and not all of them are terrorists. So I'm talking only about those who decided that their life will be operated by terrorism and vandalism and all these things, ugly things that we are facing.
This would probably be a good time for me to ask you then, Ory, what do you then make of the rise in anti-Zionism and Jew hatred and the demonization of Israel and the demonization of Jews that we're experiencing right now worldwide? And I see it here in New York City very closely.
I think that it is not local and something which is having to be part of this time of our life. I think it's a long system, and at that time of our life, because of the war, because they see sometimes houses are being destroyed in Gaza or things like that, and I think that they don't see everything, And in order to understand us, one has to come here, has to live with us, like you are doing from time to time. And I'm very sorry for the movement that is rising nowadays in the world. And it's not a new phenomenon.
That's a very succinct answer.
Yeah,
Spoken like a true lawyer, actually.
I am.
I know you are. You're a very accomplished lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's why you were tapped 40 years ago to do what the president at the time asked you to do. You told me in our last conversation how important it is to give. And what does giving do for the giver? And what should our listeners know about giving?
And another part of my life
Mhm.
is Variety International, which is a children charity that was founded in the U.S. in 1928 in Pittsburgh, and it's a big charity. And 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I became the president of this charity in Israel, and in 2001, I became the only Israeli who was president of Variety worldwide. And this is a big charity taking care of millions of kids, disadvantaged kids. I
Worldwide,
was
we should say.
worldwide, and I was privileged to head it as the only Israeli. And I think that giving is the best present one can have, because the privilege that you have, if you can, and if you do it, and if you can afford, but most if you want to do it, that you enjoy the giving more than the one who is receiving. And, one of my friends told me once when I asked him, why you are allotting so much of your time to give and to help other and to help the weak people and the children? And he say, I'm just an egoist.
And explain.
Yeah, but yes, it do great for yourself. It does to your life lots of good things. And I believe that everyone should prefer to be on the side of giving than on the side of needing the help.
Yeah, it makes you feel good to give. And also, because you're a native Hebrew speaker, explain what the word to give means in Hebrew backwards and forwards.
Yes, I think that giving is the best present, the best privilege that God gave me and gave those people in Variety and other charities. And we are privileged to give. And I think that at all times, the world should have more givers than those who need it.
Yeah. And the word, though, in Hebrew is what?
Latet.
But if you say notain,
Not the same from
yeah,
both sides.
yeah. So
Yes.
if there, so we should share with our non-Hebrew listeners there, Ori. That's where I was
Yes.
going with that.
Yes. Latet is the giver, and it's a game, but at the end of the day, it's what you feel
Yeah,
and what
because the letters backwards and forwards are the same. So when you give, you get. That's where I was going with
but
that.
you get more. But you get more.
You do. Indeed, you do. And you've given so much through your life for sure. And so as we begin to wind down our conversation, I wanted to ask you, as you reflect on your work with the POWs, the MIAs, and even the hostages, right? Is there an experience or a negotiation, for example, Uri, that you're involved with that comes to mind that gives you either the greatest satisfaction or in your very quiet, private time, you think about or that pops into your head?
I think I cannot pinpoint on one occasion or one human being that I dealt with. I think that every moment that you're dealing with this situation, every moment that you can put a smile on a mother or father of a POW or hostage, is the whole world. So I don't think I need the big occasions to be happy. From time to time, I'm happy for very tiny things. And at the end of the day, I cannot find even one moment that it was, a moment that I'll never forget. I don't forget all moments.
And how has this work throughout the years changed you personally?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope my family, my friends feel more than me, but I feel that my life is better life when I do it. My life is better life, and I think that the one who is having his life, for 80, for 90, or sometimes even shorter, without giving, his life are worthless.
Yeah, it's
He's not
meaningless.
living.
Yeah,
He's not.
exactly. I totally agree. So now as we really wind down our conversation, so you know Israel intimately. So for anyone that has not been to Israel or someone that's been to Israel multiple times, where would you tell them they have to go and visit? Are there a few places that you say, my favorite place is X, or my favorite experience is Y, or you have to try XYZ food in Israel?
First of all, I think that coming to such an ancient country and feeling from time to time that you are crossing lines of Bible words and Bible chapters. And this is, for some of my friends, this is the meaning. For myself, the meaning is our country, our green fields, our sunny, mostly of the year, sunny days, and mostly my friends. My friends were living next to me, my family, and we are living here for the last approximately 200 years. So we faced and experienced everything. And I think that for a Jew, Israel is the place.
All right. And on that note, we are going to leave it right there. Once again, the book is A Knock at the Door. A Knock at the Door. You can pick up a copy wherever you like to buy your books. Ory Slonim, congratulations on your 40th anniversary. I think you must have started when you were 5 years old.